What's up, Laugh Masters? This is Greg Tindale here in Australia, loving the beach, loving the weather, loving all the sun, and having a good time. Yeah, I mean, improv is all about listening. So if you ever, when you start doing improv, you actually start gaining superpowers. You start to hear people more. You start to understand what they're saying better. So in one sense, when you hear somebody say something, it doesn't mean anything. But after you've done improv, the way they say it and the words they use, you start to pick up and know what they actually mean. So you start to be able to actually read people's minds. Sure. So everybody has a filter in their head. It's the frontal cortex, the front part of your brain right here. So whenever you have an idea, it goes into there, you filter it to say, wait, should I say this or not? And then you either say it or don't say it based on what you think. So with improv, what you're actually doing is you're making that process quicker. So it's coming from your gut, it's coming from your intuition. It goes to that part and you say, I want to say this. And then with improv training, you're able to say it and get it out without having that filter. So that's one of the benefits for people who don't actually want to be actors or performers, but it just makes you come from that space of knowing what you want to say and getting it out as quickly as possible. Sure, I started doing improv in about 2005 out in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. actually has a really great improv scene. A lot of it is more based on that Chicago style of building rich characters, organic openings, and just kind of seeing what happens. So I did that and went through their whole training program, started doing a teaching assistant job, and then I started becoming my own teacher and performed for a house team and then a regular team, main stage team. So got to have a lot of great training in Washington, D.C., did a lot of fun different types of shows and formats. And then after that, I moved to Los Angeles and lived for a year out there and was able to do a lot of the all 4 levels of the UCB training, which is a little bit different when they're looking at those kind of, the different kind of scene starts that they do out there. So that's a lot of fun. Sure, so I love doing workshops that have the structure of really being specific with each person who's in the workshop. So I have the different kind of games and exercises that I like to play in order to get people to open up and see where their minds are coming from. And once I have a really good idea of what people like to do, then I start giving them tasks and challenges to really push their buttons, to make them work a little harder or go outside their comfort zone, or go from an angle that they wouldn't see that they can start using as a new tool in their tool bag for the next improv show. Sure, so on the first day, I love to just do some get you warmed up type exercises, get to know everybody in the group a little bit. So that's going to be your standard warm-up games. Really starting to look at what emotions are you playing with on stage and getting you to feel the different range of emotions. I love to get into just some one-on-one scene work to see what people are doing and how they can relate to the other people that they're performing with. So that's a lot of the first day is getting that feel for what people love to do. And then just on the second day is when we dig a lot deeper. So that's when we're going to be working with the specifics of how you like to begin the scenes, what emotions you like to go straight into, and then we're looking at what the actual, the motion of the scene is. So how the pace of the scene goes, what points we're hitting at different times, and what's happening organically, and how can we make that the most fun. I just think that I love improv because it's different with every group that you do it with. You know, that we have the traditional rules of yes and all those agreements, and I think those are amazing. And I think you can actually take the agreement to a whole nother level, and I think that's what people don't do as much. And I come from a school of where everything you do, you give to your partner. You give, and you give, and that's what it sets up. So I'm really excited to get some people in there and seeing how they'll be able to work with the different scene partners they're with.